Good afternoon, I'm Mai Rodriguez. Today on Newsfeed at noon, Iran's supreme leader warns the battle begins as U.S. President Donald Trump weighs American involvement in the country's war with Israel. Despite the escalating conflict in the Middle East, President Bongbong Marcos rules out mandatory repatriation of Filipinos for now. Changes coming to the Philippine Football Federation as Freddy Gonzalez steps down as director of the national teams. And from Broadway to the baseball field, Lea Salonga performs the U.S. national anthem at a New York Yankees game. The battle begins. That warning from Iran's supreme leader, Ayatollah Ali Khamenei, as the country's escalating conflict with Israel enters its sixth day. This is Khamenei's first statement since U.S. President Donald Trump demanded Iran's unconditional surrender. Trump also claimed America knows exactly where Khamenei is hiding, but he won't be killed, at least for now. Trump, however, warned their patience is wearing thin. He also said he is aiming for more than just a ceasefire.
We're looking for better than a ceasefire.
What specifically is better than a ceasefire? What are you looking for here?
An end, a real end, not a ceasefire. An end.
So something that will be public.
Yeah, or giving up entirely. Is that okay too?
President Trump's call for Iran's unconditional surrender could signal a major escalation in the war. Analysts believe the U.S. is on the brink of joining Israel's assault on Iran.
Right now, we are most likely the hours before a major escalation, rather de-escalation. What Trump has been signaling, tweeting today does not seem to suggest that he has any plans to actually give diplomacy a real chance. He's calling for surrender. I think he is likely miscalculating, thinking that the Iranians believe that surrender actually is an option, that Trump would honor the terms of a surrender. And that's assuming that they even think that surrender is in the cards, in the sense that their assessment of their strength and weakness is likely very different from the perception that exists in Israel and in the United States. I don't think that they think is an actual option. So if Trump goes and insists on surrender, if talks even take place, I think it will ensure war.
Israel also signaling it will not let up in its war against Iran on Billionaire News Channel's agenda. Israeli Ambassador Ilan Flass says the conflict will only end once Iran's nuclear capabilities are neutralized. The war began last Friday when Israel launched a surprise assault on Iran's atomic facilities and military commanders.
What will take is to finish the job, meaning to remove the threat on the existence of Israel, which means to destroy the military nuclear capability and military ballistic missile capability of Iran. And then when there's no threat to the Israeli existence, of course, from the point of view of Israel, of course, we can end it. But this is something that will take some time. It's not 1 or 2 days.
Ambassador Flass also says the Israeli government will not restrict Filipinos or other foreign nationals from leaving the country. But he admits evacuation remains a challenge due to the suspension of air transport.
Well, Israel is a democracy. If people would like to leave, we're not holding people by force, absolutely not. I have to say that this time it is difficult to leave Israel because Israeli air is closed, so there's no aviation, no flights in and out because of the danger, because of the missile attacks. So it's difficult to get in and out of Israel. Slowly, people are able to move, but through neighboring countries, either Egypt or Jordan. So it is very, very limited and difficult, but it's important to say, we're a free country and it's a democracy. And if people prefer to leave, they can, of course, leave whenever they like. But currently now, they have to find a way to do it.
The war between Iran and Israel now on its sixth day, but the Philippines is not yet ordering the mandatory repatriation of Filipinos in both countries. There are about 30,000 Filipinos in Israel and another 1,200 in Iran. President Bongbong Marcos says repatriation remains voluntary for now. He adds Migrant Workers Secretary Hans Leo Kakdak is personally overseeing the evacuation efforts in Israel and Iran.
We, of course, are watching our nationals both in Israel and in Iran. And as a matter of fact, we have already contacted all our nationals and asked them if they want to be evacuated. Some have asked to be evacuated out of Israel. Some now, nung una, sa Iran, ayaw nila munang umalis. Pero ngayon, meron nang sinasabi na kailangan wala silang natatakot na sila kaya nagpapatuloy na makalabas. Ang naging problema natin sa pag-evacuate sa kanila ay dahil sa gera, maraming sarado na airport. Kaya nag-ahanap tayo ng ruta kung saan sila mailabas.
The president's statements come as he checked on a school in Quezon City that was damaged by a fire Sunday. The Department of Public Works and Highways is now recommending its demolition. Let's bring in our Mojo, Arie Reyes, for more on this story. Ivy, go ahead.
Upon DPWH's recommendation, the 45-year-old school building hit by fire at San Francisco High School can no longer be rehabilitated. It needs to be replaced.
Ang recommendation po ng Department of Public Works is gibain na po yung struktura at gumawa na po ng panibagong 4-story, 36 classroom building na hahalaga ng 180 million pesos at matatapos sa loob ng isang taon ayon sa DPWH.
The police has yet to conclude their investigation, but right now they're looking at faulty wiring as the cause of fire. Secretary Angara also brought with him 10 laptops to hand over the school admin, in addition to the chairs and fans they have earlier provided for the makeshift classrooms of about 600 high school students. Due to fire, the single classroom shift for high school students circled back to double shifts, with the first batch of students holding classes from 6 a.m. to 12:30 p.m. Upon the president's inspection, even with rehabilitation, the building structure can no longer stand.
Dahil ang mga school room natin, mga school building natin, mga school facilities natin, medyo luma na rin. Yung sa electrical, kinakargahan na natin ng computer, ng bagong fan, yung iba aircon, kaya talagang overloaded na, kaya nagkakaganto.
The building, being the oldest in the school, built in 1980, is also another factor. From our interview with the school principal, learning materials and modules were severely affected, which is why they had to reprint everything they prepared before the first day of school. And that's the latest on San Francisco High School.
Ivy, how much was the damage?
The estimated damage has reached up to 3 million pesos, including laptops, computers, and other school materials in the 16-room building.
Thank you for that report, Ivy Reyes. Detained former Congressman Arie Davis had a successful appendectomy at the Philippine General Hospital. That's according to his lawyer, Ferdinand Topacio, who says Davis is now recuperating. Appendectomy is a surgical procedure to remove an infected appendix. Davis was rushed to the hospital Tuesday due to severe stomach pain. He is facing multiple charges, including murder and terrorism. Congresswoman-elect Janice Degamo, whose husband is among his alleged victims, has accused Davis of faking illness to delay justice. Interior Secretary John Vic Remulla vows Davis will be immediately returned to Camp Bagong Diwa in Taguig as soon as possible.
Pero sisigurado ko na hindi siya makakatakas sa hustisya at hindi rin siya makakatakas sa sabihin niya na mag-excuse siya, kailangan hospitalized. Sisiguraduhin namin na hanggang kailangan lang siya doon at ibabalik agad siya.
The Metro Manila Wage Board has wrapped up public consultations on petitions to raise the minimum wage. During the hearings, workers voiced anger over broken promises of a legislated wage hike, while business groups call for a balanced outcome. Abante Radyo's Dexter Ganibe is in Pasay to give us an update on this. Dexter, what's the latest?
Yes, the Regional Tripartite Wages and Productivity Board of the National Capital Region has already concluded the public consultations on the wage increase petitions asking for wage increase for minimum wage earners here in Metro Manila. The Metro East Labor Federation is asking for an increase of 885 pesos to the current 645 pesos daily minimum wage to make it 1,500 pesos if approved. The group said it is a meager amount but a just one for a living wage. Another group of workers also lodged a petition to increase the minimum wage at the amount of 555 pesos. During the public hearing, workers expressed their dismay over the promises made by the lawmakers for a legislated wage hike that eventually did not push through. Workers criticized the legislators for hyping it and giving false hope to the wage earners just to get their votes during the midterm elections.
Sila yung nagyayabang pero hanggang yabang lang, no? Hanggang pambobola lang yung ginagawa nila sa mga manggagawa. Ang talagang layunin lang nito makakuha lang ng boto eh. Pagkatapos ay ibabasura na yung mga kahilingan ng mga manggagawa.
On the other hand, the business sector in Metro Manila is hoping that the Regional Wage Board will find a just and acceptable wage hike for both sectors. Mai?
Dexter, when is the Wage Board expected to come up with a decision?
Yes, the Regional Wage Board will commence the deliberation on the two petitions before coming up with a new wage order that is amenable for both sectors, the employers and the employees, on or after the 16th of July. Mai?
Thank you, Dexter Ganibe, reporting to us live from Pasay City. With global oil prices under pressure amid the war between Israel and Iran, Philippine energy officials are checking fuel reserves and preparing subsidies for sectors most at risk. Paulo Barcelon reports.
Energy Officer in charge Sharon Garin inspected oil depots in the nation's capital Tuesday. This amid ongoing tensions in the Middle East, such as the conflict between Iran and Israel. The DOE says the country has enough stocks of crude oil and diesel for now, as fuel companies should have at least 15 days reserve fuel in case oil exporting countries stop exporting oil to the country.
Tumatama sila ng 28 days for gasoline as of June 15 to, no? And 26 days ang supply natin nationwide for diesel.
Petron Corporation's Manila Harbor Center Terminal currently has a 27 million liter capacity, and it gets a supply of 7 million liters of petroleum products per day. Aside from supplies, the DOE says they are also closely monitoring prices.
And the price, kung meron nga mga problema sa price na mangyari, we are coordinating with all the other agencies concerned. So we will monitor, continuously monitor, and make sure na etong mga companies na to, na oil companies most especially, are ensuring na meron po tayong sufficient supply, tsaka yung presyo.
Should oil reach $80 per barrel, Garin says the DOE, the Agriculture and Transportation Departments are now readying funds to subsidize some of the fuel costs for public transport drivers and fisherfolk.
So in preparation for that, we will discuss kung ano yung natitirang funding dyan, anong pwedeng programa na pwedeng gawin, kasi marami namang pwedeng gawin na programs under this funding.
The DOE says they will meet with oil companies in the next few weeks to discuss additional measures to cushion the impact of rising oil prices on PUV drivers. Paulo Barcelon, Billionario News Channel.
We're taking a break. Up ahead, Lea Salonga performs the U.S. national anthem at a New York Yankees game. That and more when Newsfeed at Noon returns. You're back on Newsfeed at noon. Pop star Ariana Grande mourns the passing of her beloved grandmother, Marjorie, known to fans as Nonna. A family statement says Marjorie died peacefully in her home at the age of 99. Throughout her career, Ariana has spoken fondly of her Nonna, who accompanied her to many public events. Marjorie was also featured in her track Ordinary Things from her most recent album, Eternal Sunshine. Marjorie's contribution made her the oldest artist to appear on the Billboard Hot 100 after the song hit number 55 last year. In other entertainment news, the long wait is almost over. Army Big Hit Music has officially announced Chuga is close to completing his mandatory military service and will soon be discharged. He is expected to be released on June 21st. Chuga is the final BTS member still enlisted. Despite this, he joined his bandmates last week in a surprise OT7 appearance at the finale concert of J-Hope's World Tour in Goyang, South Korea. BTS has been on hiatus since 2022. While there's no official announcement yet, the K-pop superstars are expected to make a full group comeback either this year or the next. From Broadway to the baseball field, Tony Award winner Leia Salonga performs the U.S. national anthem at a New York Yankees game. The Yankees The Yankees posted that video with what it describes as a beautiful rendition of the Star-Spangled Banner. The team also mentioned Leia's current Broadway show, Sondheim's Old Friends. Just last week, the Filipino theater star graced the 78th Tony Awards and served as one of the presenters. Superman is in town. David Corenswet has arrived in Manila ahead of a meet and greet tomorrow. He will be joined by director James Gunn, Rachel Brosnahan, who plays Lois Lane, and Nicholas Hoult, who stars as Lex Luthor in the DC film. Manila is the first stop of their world tour, which will also take them to Brazil, the UK, and France. The meet and greet will be held at the SM Mall of Asia Music Hall. Superman is set for release in theaters in July. In New York, fans converge in Times Square for the world premiere of Brad Pitt's latest film, F1. Pitt stars as a driver who comes out of retirement to save a struggling racing team and mentor a young hotshot. Formula One star Lewis Hamilton helped create the film, which will be released in the U.S. on June 27. Pitt calls his role a once-in-a-lifetime experience.
Just one in a lifetime, you know? I can't believe it after all this time I'd find something like this. It was just this audacious idea of Joe Kaczynski's to put us on the track and embed us in the F1 racing season. F1 opened the doors for us, and we have this to show for it.
You know, these are things that people, you know, look back on throughout hopefully a long, prosperous career. And they say, you know, I remember when I worked with Brad Pitt, I remember when I worked with Javier Bardem, Joe Kaczynski, Jerry Bruckheimer, Kerry Condon. And I'm so blessed and so happy that they've all accepted me and they hold me to equal footing. And I can't wait for the world to see this movie.
We're taking another breather. Still to come, Alex Ayala bows out of the Nottingham Open after losing to her Polish foe. The details when we return. Stay with us. Sports news now. Change is coming to the Philippine Football Federation, with Freddy Gonzalez stepping down as director of the men's and women's national teams. In a statement, Gonzalez says he made the tough decision to step away to focus on personal and professional pursuits. Still, he calls his time with the national team one of the biggest honors of his life. Gonzalez also thanked all the players for their sacrifices and commitment, saying they've helped shift the culture of Philippine football and that leading them was a privilege. He took on the role in January last year and oversaw a major rebrand of the men's national team, including the retirement of the Azcal's name. Gonzalez's exit follows the resignation of head coach Albert Capellas in May, who led the squad to a semifinal finish in the 2024 ASEAN Mitsubishi Electric Cup. From the pitch to the tennis court, it's on to the next for Filipino star Alex Ayala after her first round exit at the Nottingham Open. The women's world number 77 lost to 31st ranked Magda Linette of Poland. Ayala was leading 3-0 in the first set when Linette took control from there and ended the match in an hour and a half. Ayala reached Nottingham's main draw after scoring back-to-back wins in the qualifying round. The Rafa Nadal Academy graduate is preparing for her main draw debut at Wimbledon later this month. And those are the news this hour. I'm Mai Rodriguez. Stay with the Billionaire News Channel. Good afternoon.